She stops replying, not because she stopped caring, but because she's drowning in emotions she refuses to show you. The more she feels, the quieter she becomes. That silence is not rejection, it's control. It's her way of protecting her power in a world where emotion means weakness. This is why women ignore you when they're deeply in love. It's not distance, it's defense. She's testing your emotional control, your ability to stay calm when everything inside you wants to chase. The moment you react, you lose the masculine frame that drew her in. Stoicism teaches that desire without discipline leads to slavery. When you seek her validation, you give away your value as a man. When you stay centered, you regain it. Female psychology thrives on emotional contrast. She wants to feel your presence without your dependence. So when she pulls away, do you chase her silence or master your own? Which man do you become when love feels like loss? Point number 1, emotional exposure. What are you trying to prove when she goes silent? You stare at the gym mirror. You trace the bruise of your own smile. You count reps to steady the pulse of wanting. The phone buzzes at 2 a.m., no name. You swallow and wait. An empty bed holds the weight of her absence. Custody papers sit folded on the table like a judge with no mercy. You drive at dusk and rehearse explanations at red lights. Marcus taught this plainly. You have power over your mind, not outside events. In the forum, a soldier steadied his breath before the trumpet. He would not clatter his sword for applause. Today, that soldier is a man who resists the urge to text, to call, to perform. The force is the same. The stakes feel smaller. The cost feels larger. You trade presence for panic and wonder why the shape of respect thins. Picture a man who answers every silence with noise. He spends sleep on his thumb, crafting messages, revising tone, hunting approval. He believes motion will bend back toward him. Instead, motion burns his edges. It reveals him. It lowers what she first saw. Now picture another man. He sits by the window. He lifts his coffee. He files taxes, signs forms, trains his body, reads late. He keeps his word to himself more than to the world. He does not ask for permission from her temperature. He becomes the place where storms pass, not the weather that chases them. You will be tempted to explain, to repair, to insist. You will be tempted to show how much you feel. Every pull will promise relief, and every reply will cost you more than you win. Train your silence. How long will you hold it when everything inside wants to strike? Next, we will learn how her quiet becomes a deliberate test, what she seeks in the echo, and the moves that let you keep your value while the world rages. Stay with that. Point number 2, recognition of the test. When she pulls away, do you see distance or design? You replay the moment. Her tone flattens. Her replies shorten. She forgets plans she once made first. You tell yourself she's tired, distracted, overwhelmed, but something colder hides beneath it. She's watching how you react when you stop being fed. The test begins long before you know it's a test. It starts when your patience collides with her silence. When you start checking your phone every hour. When your mind builds stories to fill her absence. You think she's slipping away, but she's measuring your center. Seneca said, "Fire tests gold, adversity tests the brave." In ancient Rome, men were not praised for words. They were judged by how still they stood in pain. A commander who panicked lost legions. A husband who begged lost respect. You are being measured the same way. Not by your love, but by your restraint. She needs to feel your steadiness when her emotions scatter. She's not seeking answers, she's seeking containment. Your stillness gives her safety. Your reaction kills it. Most men fail here. They chase, explain, plead. They prove they are driven by her moods, not their own conviction. The test is not about her loyalty, it's about your frame. She wants to know if you can lead when she can't follow herself. If you can stand firm without needing her to see you. If your self-worth can breathe without validation. You pass not by silence alone, but by composure. By returning to your life's order while chaos tempts you. Hold your ground. Stop chasing ghosts. Let her silence reveal her, not destroy you. Stay unshaken. What if the real measure of love isn't how much you feel, but how little you need to prove it? Next, we go deeper into the masculine trap, how emotion disguised as care becomes the very chain that strips your power. Point number 3. The masculine trap. Why do you fight so hard to prove you care? You think effort equals value. You think showing emotion earns connection. But every time you explain, justify, or chase, you step into the masculine trap. The harder you reach, the smaller you feel. It starts when she pulls back and you rush in. You text twice. You call again. You rehearse words that sound calm but bleed desperation. You say you just want clarity, but you're really begging for control. Epictetus warned, the more we value things outside our control, the less control we have. The ancients saw this clearly. A man who sought validation from the crowd became a slave to their noise. Today that crowd is one woman, one message thread, one illusion of being chosen. You call it love, but it's a quiet surrender of authority. She senses it immediately. The moment your tone softens for reassurance, her respect evaporates. She stops trusting your center because you've placed it in her hands. What once felt like connection now feels like pressure. She retreats further and you try harder. The trap tightens. The truth is brutal. You were never rejected. You were exposed. Your dependence surfaced. And she followed her nature to test strength, not soothe weakness. A man anchored in purpose doesn't need permission to feel steady. He holds his boundaries, even when affection becomes scarce. His calm is not a tactic, it's discipline. His care is not performance, it's presence without pleading. Your emotions are not the enemy, your attachment to control is. Every time you chase comfort, you sell freedom for validation. Hold your frame. Let discomfort teach you restraint. Do you love her, or do you need her to make you feel valuable? Next, we step into detachment as clarity, where silence stops being punishment and becomes the place you rebuild your strength. Point number 4. Detachment as clarity. Why do you fear losing someone who already stepped away? You scroll through old messages like they hold answers. You study her last words, trying to read between the lines. You mistake reflection for progress. But detachment begins where obsession ends. It is not coldness. It is correction. In the middle of loss, your mind becomes noise. Every thought loops back to her. Every plan pauses. You feel half alive, half waiting. That is the moment you must see clearly. Marcus Aurelius said, "You become what you give your attention to." The Stoics practiced distance to see truth. They stood outside emotion long enough to separate fact from fear. A Roman general didn't mourn a lost battle. He studied it. He learned the pattern, adjusted formation, and returned stronger. That's detachment, observation without collapse. Modern men confuse detachment with indifference, but clarity is not numbness. It's the discipline to see pain as information, not identity. When you detach, you stop reacting to her silence and start reading it. You recognize what was real, what was projection, and what was your own insecurity asking to be fed. Detachment gives you direction. You stop trying to fix her emotions and start mastering your own. You stop proving worth and start building it. The world becomes quieter because your value no longer depends on her echo. This is not emotional withdrawal, it's emotional control. You choose stillness over impulse. You let her distance reveal what you need to strengthen. Step back from the noise, breathe, observe, let. Her actions teach you more than her words ever did. Train your distance until it becomes your power. How much of what you call love is just the fear of being alone? Next, we move into loss of value through reaction, where every message, every chase, and every apology becomes a mirror showing who truly leads. Point number 5. Loss of value through reaction. Why does your worth collapse the moment she withdraws? You feel it in your chest. The texts slow down. Her tone turns light, distant. You tell yourself it's fine, but your mind starts sprinting. You replay every conversation, searching for what you did wrong. That panic is the beginning of your fall. Reaction kills value faster than rejection. When you chase, explain, or demand, you tell her exactly where your center lives. And it's not in you. Every word you send from fear lowers the respect she once had. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." The ancients faced storms without blinking. A commander didn't run when thunder broke. He stood still so others would know where strength lived. That's what you lose when you react. You show that her silence governs your emotions, that your balance depends on her mood. In modern terms, your phone becomes your leash. Every notification jerks your attention. You answer instantly, hoping to prove calm through performance. But she feels the tension behind your words. You don't look steady. You look desperate. Real value exists only in control. The less you react, the more power you reclaim. The more you explain, the weaker you look. Women feel energy before they believe words. When your emotions follow hers, attraction dies. Respect dies with it. Learn to pause. Let silence do its work. Respond only from choice, never from fear. Your reaction is currency. Spend it like a fool and you go broke. Stillness is not indifference. It's strength under fire. Control your breath. Let her drift. Watch without flinching. You are not losing her. You are losing the part of you that needed to be chosen. Next, we enter emotional mastery as exit. How the man who stops reacting stops losing, and how silence becomes the final proof of strength. Point number 6. Emotional mastery as exit. When do you finally stop trying to make her understand? You've begged, explained, and justified until your voice sounds foreign. You've crafted the perfect message, deleted it, rewritten it, sent it anyway. Each time you hoped for relief that never came. That's the moment most men break. The refusal to accept that peace requires surrender, not persuasion. Marcus Aurelius said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." The ancients knew this was the final discipline, the ability to walk away not from a person, but from the illusion of control. A Stoic didn't win every battle. He mastered the meaning of loss. He turned pain into distance and distance into order. In the modern world, that exit is quiet. You stop checking your phone. You stop defending your intentions. You stop waiting for closure. You no longer need her to see your worth because you already do. That's emotional mastery, the decision to end the war inside yourself before it consumes what's left. It's not about indifference. It's about preservation. You protect your mind the way a soldier guards his weapon. You stop fighting for attention and start fighting for discipline. You move from reaction to observation, from noise to command. The truth is simple. The man who can walk away calmly is the man she never forgets. His silence burns longer than any speech. His restraint carries more weight than any apology. You reclaim your power the second you stop proving it. You exit not because you're cold, but because you're done bleeding for validation. Master your exit. Can you leave with dignity when everything in you wants to stay? And when you do, understand this. The story doesn't end with her silence. It begins with your stillness. That's where the man she tested finally becomes the man he was meant to be. You sat through this to understand her silence. You learned to read the pull, not to panic. You saw how silence measures your center and how discipline answers. That clarity gives you a path forward. Thank you for staying to the end and for trusting this lesson. If this helped you, like the video and subscribe to see more that cuts straight to truth. Share one moment in the comments where silence taught you something. I read those and I learned from them too. With that said, thanks for watching and until next time.